Victoria Hayes pressed her forehead against the cool glass window of the 42nd floor, watching the city lights twinkle like scattered diamonds below. The Winters Tech Corporation building towered over downtown Seattle, a monument to innovation and success. She worked here, yes, but sometimes she felt like a ghost drifting through these polished hallways. Her reflection stared back at her, a 26-year-old woman with honey-brown hair pulled into a practical ponytail and hazel eyes that seemed tired even after a full weekend of rest. She wore her favorite emerald blouse, the one Mia said brought out the green in her eyes, but Victoria doubted anyone noticed such things in this fast-paced environment. Earth to Victoria? Mia Torres waved a perfectly manicured hand in front of her face. "You're doing that thing again." "What thing?" Victoria turned from the window, trying to look innocent. Mia raised one elegant eyebrow. Her friend always looked effortlessly put together with her dark curls perfectly styled and her burgundy dress hugging her curves. "That thing where you stare off into space thinking about a certain billionaire CEO who definitely does not know you exist." Heat rushed to Victoria's cheeks. "I was just thinking about the quarterly report." "Sure you were." Mia perched on the edge of Victoria's desk, her expression softening. "Honey, I love you, but Gabriel Winters is not going to magically notice you if you keep hiding behind your computer screen." Victoria sighed, sinking into her chair. "Mia, look at me. Really look at me. I'm ordinary. I wear the same 3 outfits in rotation. I bring homemade sandwiches for lunch because I can't afford the fancy cafes downtown. Meanwhile, Gabriel Winters is, well, he's Gabriel Winters. So what?" Mia crossed her arms. "He's human, not some mythical creature. He's a self-made billionaire who built this company from nothing. He graduated from Stanford at 20. He's been on the cover of Forbes 3 times. He dates supermodels and attends charity galas where tickets cost more than my monthly rent." Victoria counted on her fingers. "And I'm a marketing specialist who still has student loan debt and whose biggest accomplishment this year was getting my cat to stop scratching the furniture." Mia opened her mouth to respond, but Thomas Reed appeared beside them, his tablet clutched to his chest. The junior analyst looked pale, his usually neat blonde hair disheveled. "Victoria, we have a major problem." Her personal worries evaporated instantly. "What happened?" "The Harrison Medical contract. They're threatening to pull out. Apparently, our competitor leaked false information about our data security protocols, and now Harrison's board is having an emergency meeting tomorrow morning. If we lose this contract, we lose $12 million and our credibility in the healthcare sector." Victoria's stomach dropped. She had spent 3 months developing the marketing strategy for Harrison Medical. "Can we prove the information is false?" "We can. But we need a complete damage control presentation ready by tomorrow morning. That means revising all our security documentation, preparing counter-evidence, and creating a new pitch that addresses their concerns." Thomas glanced at his watch. "It's already 5:30. "Who's leading the response team?" Victoria asked, already pulling up files on her computer. "You are. Gabriel specifically requested you." The words hit Victoria like a physical force. "Gabriel requested me. Are you sure?" "Positive. He said you're the only one who understands both the technical aspects and the relationship-building elements well enough to handle this." Thomas looked apologetic. "I know it's late notice, and I know it'll be an all-nighter, but I'll do it." Victoria's voice came out steadier than she felt. "Send me everything we have. I'll need access to the legal team's files and the security audit reports. Already sent to your email." Gabriel said to use the executive conference room on the 45th floor. It has better tech setup. Thomas hesitated. "Victoria, good luck. This is huge." After Thomas hurried away, Mia squeezed Victoria's shoulder. "See, he does know you exist. He specifically asked for you. He asked for my work skills, not me." Victoria was already gathering her things. "There's a difference." "If you say so. I'd stay and help, but I have that presentation for the Tokyo office in the morning. Call me if you need anything. even if it's just moral support at 3 in the morning. Thanks, Mia. Go home. I'll be fine. By 8 o'clock, Victoria had transformed the executive conference room into her personal war room. Papers covered every surface, 3 laptops displayed different data sets, and she'd filled 2 whiteboards with flowcharts and talking points. Her blazer hung over a chair, her hair had escaped its ponytail, and she'd kicked off her heels hours ago. She was so absorbed in restructuring the security presentation that she didn't hear the door open. Impressive work! Victoria jumped, nearly knocking over her 4th cup of coffee. Gabriel Winters stood in the doorway, his suit jacket gone and his white shirt sleeves rolled up to his elbows. Even in this casual state, he looked like he'd stepped out of a business magazine. His dark hair had that perfectly imperfect style that probably cost more than her weekly grocery budget, and his gray eyes studied her work with an intensity that made her pulse race. Mr. Winters. She resisted the urge to smooth her messy hair. I thought everyone had gone home. Gabriel, please. And I could say the same about you. He stepped into the room, his gaze moving from her whiteboards to her organized chaos of documents. It's past 8 on a Friday night. The Harrison presentation won't create itself. Victoria gestured at her work. I'm rebuilding our entire approach to focus on transparency and verified security metrics. If we lead with our independent audit, results, and follow with client testimonials from other healthcare companies, we can counter their concerns in the first 10 minutes. Gabriel moved closer, examining her notes. He smelled like sandalwood and something fresh she couldn't identify. You've already identified every weak point in their argument and created counter-strategies for each one. This is exceptional. Thank you. Victoria tried to ignore how her heart hammered when he stood this close. I just hope it's enough to save the contract. It will be? Gabriel leaned against the table, his expression thoughtful. Victoria, can I ask you something personal? Her breath caught. Of course. Do you know how many times I've specifically requested you for major projects? In the past year? The question threw her completely off balance. Well, no. I assumed you requested the marketing department, and they assigned whoever was available. 7 times. Gabriel held up his fingers. 7 different critical projects, and I asked for you by name every single time. The Riverside campaign, the venture capital presentation, the European expansion strategy, the tech conference keynote materials. All you. Victoria stared at him, her mind reeling. I had no idea. I thought I was just getting lucky with good assignments. It wasn't luck. You're brilliant at what you do. His gray eyes held hers. You have this rare ability to understand both the technical details and the human element. You see patterns others miss. You create presentations that don't just inform, but actually connect with people emotionally. I just try to put myself in the audience's shoes, Victoria said softly, to think about what would matter to me if I were making those decisions. Exactly. That empathy, that insight, it's what makes you irreplaceable. Gabriel's voice grew quieter. Do you know what else I've noticed about you? She shook her head, not trusting her voice. You bring fresh flowers every Monday and put them in the break room because you think the space is too sterile. You remember everyone's birthday, even the interns. You stay late every Thursday to mentor the new hires, even though it's not in your job description. He smiled slightly. And you always wear mismatched socks under your professional shoes because you told Mia once that small rebellions keep you sane. Victoria's eyes widened. How do you know about the socks? I notice things. I notice you. Gabriel straightened, maintaining a respectful distance, but his gaze never left hers. For the past year, Victoria Hayes, you've been the most noticeable person in this entire building to me. You were never invisible, not for a single day. Victoria's hands trembled as she gripped the edge of the conference table. The room suddenly felt smaller, the air charged with something she couldn't name. Gabriel Winters, The untouchable billionaire CEO stood 3 feet away, telling her he'd noticed everything about her. It felt like a dream, the kind she'd wake up from disappointed. "I don't understand." Her voice came out barely above a whisper. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" Gabriel ran a hand through his dark hair, a gesture that made him seem almost vulnerable. "Because I'm your boss, Victoria. There's a power dynamic here that I can't ignore. I didn't want you to feel pressured or uncomfortable." He paused, his gray eyes searching hers. "But after watching you doubt yourself today, hearing you call yourself ordinary when you're anything but, I couldn't stay silent anymore." "So what happens now?" Victoria asked, her heart pounding so hard she was sure he could hear it. "Now, we save the Harrison contract together." Gabriel moved to the whiteboard, studying her work. "And then, after this crisis is over and there's no professional pressure, I'd like to take you to dinner, not as your boss, but as someone who wants to know you better." Before Victoria could respond, her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and her stomach sank. "It's Thomas. Harrison Medical just moved their meeting up to 7 tomorrow morning instead of noon. That gives us less than 11 hours. Then we'd better get to work." Gabriel shed his tie completely and picked up a marker. "Walk me through your strategy." The next 6 hours blurred together in a whirlwind of collaboration. Victoria had always imagined Gabriel as this distant, untouchable figure, but working beside him shattered every assumption. He listened intently to her ideas, challenged her thinking in ways that made her sharper, and contributed insights that elevated her work to a new level. Around 2 in the morning, they took a break. Gabriel disappeared and returned with 2 containers of Chinese food from the all-night place down the street. "How did you know I love Kung Pao chicken?" Victoria asked, accepting the container gratefully. "You order it every Friday for lunch." Gabriel settled into the chair beside her, closer than necessary in the large room. "You also always ask for extra fortune cookies, which you save and read during afternoon slumps." Victoria laughed, pulling out 3 fortune cookies from her desk drawer. "I can't believe you noticed that." "I told you. I notice everything about you." His expression grew serious. "Can I tell you something? About why I built this company?" "Of course." Gabriel set down his food, his gaze distant. "I grew up poor, Victoria. Really poor. My mother worked 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. When I was 12, she got sick, and we couldn't afford the medical treatment she needed. The healthcare system failed us because we had no money, no insurance, no power." Victoria's heart ached at the pain in his voice. "She survived, thankfully, but I swore I'd never be powerless again. I worked my way through community college, then Stanford on scholarships. I built this company from nothing." He looked at her. "But somewhere along the way, I forgot why I started. It became about success, about proving myself, about the next big deal." "What changed?" Victoria asked softly. "You did." Gabriel's gray eyes held hers. "Last year during the Riverside campaign, I watched you spend an entire weekend creating a special presentation for the community center. It wasn't even a paying client. You just believed they deserved beautiful marketing for their programs. You told Thomas that everyone deserves to have their story told well, regardless of their budget." Victoria remembered that weekend. She'd never known Gabriel had heard about it. "That's when I realized I'd lost touch with why I started this company. You reminded me that business isn't just about profit. It's about people, about making a real difference." He smiled. "You made me want to be better, Victoria, not as a CEO, but as a person." Before Victoria could respond, her laptop chimed with an incoming email. She glanced at it and felt ice flood her veins. "Gabriel, we have a problem." He leaned over to look at the screen. Someone had sent an anonymous email to Harrison Medical's board claiming that Victoria was unqualified to handle their account and that Winters Tech was using inexperienced staff on critical projects. "This is sabotage." Gabriel's voice turned cold. Someone inside our company is trying to destroy this deal. Victoria's mind raced. It has to be someone who knew I was leading the presentation. That's only been decided for a few hours. And someone who benefits from us losing the contract. Gabriel pulled out his phone. I'm calling security. We're going to find out who sent this. Wait. Victoria grabbed his arm, then immediately released it, startled by her own boldness. If we start an investigation now, it'll distract from the presentation. We only have 5 hours left. Let's focus on making our pitch so good that this email becomes irrelevant. Gabriel studied her for a long moment. You're right. We prove them wrong by succeeding. His jaw tightened. But after this is over, I'm finding out who tried to hurt you. They worked with renewed intensity, fueled by determination and something else. Something electric that crackled between them each time their hands accidentally touched or their eyes met across the table. By 6 in the morning, they had created a presentation that was flawless. Victoria's strategic approach combined with Gabriel's business acumen had produced something extraordinary. We make a good team, Gabriel said as Victoria saved the final version. We really do. She met his gaze, and the connection between them felt tangible, real, impossible to deny. Victoria, regardless of what happens in this meeting, I want you to know something. Gabriel stood, closing the distance between them. You are not ordinary. You are extraordinary in ways that have nothing to do with money or status or magazine covers. You're kind, brilliant, authentic, and you make everyone around you better just by being yourself. Tears pricked Victoria's eyes. No one's ever said anything like that to me before. Then people haven't been paying attention. He reached out, gently tucking a strand of her hair behind her ear. The gesture was tender, achingly gentle. After we win this contract, and we will win it, I'm taking you to dinner. Not maybe, not if you're comfortable. I'm taking you, Victoria Hayes, because I can't spend another day pretending I don't care about you. Okay, Victoria breathed. Yes. A knock on the door broke the moment. Thomas appeared, looking exhausted but excited. The Harrison Medical team just arrived. They're waiting in the main conference room. Gabriel stepped back, his professional mask sliding into place, but his eyes remained warm when he looked at Victoria. Ready to show them what you're made of? Victoria straightened her blouse, slipped on her heels, and gathered her materials. Her hands no longer trembled. Her doubts had quieted. Gabriel Winters believed in her, and more importantly, she was starting to believe in herself. Let's go prove them wrong. The presentation room was packed. 12 executives from Harrison Medical sat around the massive table, their expressions skeptical. Victoria recognized the board chairman, Robert Chen, a stern man known for his ruthless business decisions. Gabriel started the introduction, but then he did something unexpected. Before we begin, I want to address the anonymous email you received this morning. Victoria Hayes is not only qualified to handle your account, she's the most talented strategist in this company. Everything you're about to see was created by her vision, her expertise, her dedication. I'm just here to support her work. Victoria's heart soared. He was publicly backing her, putting his reputation on the line for hers. She stepped forward, her voice steady and confident. Good morning. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to address your concerns. And then she began to present the work that would change everything. The presentation lasted 90 minutes, but Victoria barely registered the time passing. She spoke with a confidence she didn't know she possessed, answering every concern, addressing every doubt, presenting data with clarity and passion. When she finished, the room fell silent. Robert Chen leaned back in his chair, his stern expression unreadable. Then slowly he began to clap. The other executives joined in, and Victoria felt her knees go weak with relief. Ms. Hayes, that was the most comprehensive and honest presentation I've seen in 30 years of business. Robert stood and extended his hand. You didn't just address our concerns. You anticipated questions we hadn't even thought to ask. Winters, tech has our contract, and I want you personally overseeing the implementation. Gabriel's hand found the small of Victoria's back, a subtle gesture of support that sent warmth flooding through her. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Victoria will exceed every expectation. As the Harrison medical team filed out, Thomas burst into the room, his face glowing. They're already talking about expanding the contract. This is incredible. Victoria felt like she was floating. They'd done it. They'd actually done it. But her joy was short-lived. As they walked back to the executive floor, she noticed the stairs. Whispers followed them through the hallways. By the time they reached her desk, 3 colleagues had suddenly found reasons to walk past, their eyes curious and judgmental. Mia appeared at her side the moment Gabriel left for his office. Girl, the entire building is talking about you two, spending the night together. Victoria's stomach dropped. We were working on the presentation. I know that, and anyone with a brain knows that, but you know how office gossip works. Mia lowered her voice. Jennifer from accounting is telling everyone that you slept your way into the lead position, and Preston from sales is saying Gabriel only gave you the Harrison account because he's interested in you romantically. That's not true. I earned this. Victoria felt anger rising in her chest. I spent 3 months developing the Harrison strategy long before last night. I believe you, but gossip doesn't care about truth. Mia squeezed her hand. Just be prepared. This is going to get messy. Mia was right. By lunch, Victoria's phone buzzed with a call from her mother. Victoria Lynn Hayes, is it true you're dating your boss? Her mother's voice carried that special blend of concern and disapproval. Mrs. Patterson saw something on social media about Winters Tech and showed me. People are saying terrible things. Mom, I'm not dating anyone. We worked on a project together. Well, you need to be careful. Men like that don't seriously date girls like us. He's a billionaire, sweetheart. You're setting yourself up for heartbreak. The words stung more than Victoria wanted to admit. After she hung up, she sat at her desk feeling the weight of everyone's judgment pressing down on her. That evening, as she packed up to leave, Gabriel appeared beside her desk. Have dinner with me tonight. Victoria glanced around at the few remaining colleagues who were clearly listening. Gabriel, maybe we should wait. People are talking. Let them talk. His voice was firm. I told you I was taking you to dinner, and I meant it. Unless you've changed your mind about wanting to go. I haven't changed my mind, but... No buts. Meet me at Romano's at 8, please. Romano's was the most exclusive restaurant in Seattle, the kind of place Victoria had only seen in magazines. She almost said no, almost let fear and doubt win. But then she looked into Gabriel's gray eyes and saw genuine hope there. Okay, 8 o'clock. Victoria wore her nicest dress, a simple navy blue number she'd bought on sale last year. As she walked into Romano's, she felt completely out of place among the designer gowns and expensive suits. But then she saw Gabriel waiting by the entrance, and the way his face lit up when he saw her made everything else fade away. You look beautiful, he said, offering his arm. Dinner was perfect. They talked about everything and nothing. Learning about each other beyond work. Gabriel told her about his childhood dreams of becoming an astronaut. Victoria shared her secret passion for painting, something she'd abandoned in college but still missed. Why did you stop painting? Gabriel asked. It felt impractical. I needed a stable career, something that would pay the bills. Victoria traced the rim of her wine glass. Art was a luxury I couldn't afford. What if you could afford it now? What would you paint? Victoria thought about it. Moments of connection. Those small instances when people really see each other. You know, when the walls come down and something real happens. Gabriel reached across the table and took her hand. Paint that. Paint us. The moment was shattered by a familiar voice. Well, isn't this cozy? Victoria looked up to see Preston Hall, the senior sales director, standing beside their table. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Preston. Gabriel's voice cooled several degrees. This is a private dinner. I'm sure it is. I just wanted to congratulate Victoria on her remarkable rise in the company. Preston's tone dripped with insinuation. 6 months ago, she was a junior coordinator, and now she's handling $12 million contracts. That's quite an impressive trajectory. Victoria felt her face flush with anger and embarrassment. Gabriel stood, his full height and presence suddenly intimidating. Victoria earned her position through talent and hard work. If you have concerns about her qualifications, you can bring them to my office Monday morning. Otherwise, leave us alone. Preston's smile faltered, but he wasn't finished. You should know, Gabriel, that the board has some concerns about your judgment lately. Mixing business with personal relationships could be seen as a liability. Is that a threat? Gabriel's voice was dangerously quiet. Just friendly advice. Harrison Medical might reconsider their contract if they thought the lead strategist was chosen for reasons other than merit. Preston shrugged. It would be a shame to lose such a lucrative deal over a romantic entanglement. After Preston left, Victoria felt sick. Gabriel, maybe he's right. Maybe we should... No. Gabriel sat back down and took both her hands. Victoria, look at me. Preston is just bitter because I passed him over for VP last year. He's trying to manipulate us both. But what if he's right? What if people think I didn't earn my position? What if this costs the company the Harrison contract? Then we'll deal with it together. Gabriel's grip tightened. But I'm not going to pretend I don't care about you because other people are small-minded. You earned everything through your own merit, and I'm not going to let anyone, including yourself, diminish that. The weekend brought more challenges. Victoria's younger sister called, excited at first, then worried. Vic, I Googled him. He dated a literal supermodel last year. Are you sure you know what you're getting into? Even Thomas, usually supportive, expressed concern. Victoria, I think what you did with Harrison was amazing, but you should be careful. Office romances with the CEO rarely end well for the employee. By Monday morning, Victoria felt exhausted from defending herself and her feelings. She arrived at work early, hoping to avoid the stares and whispers, but found an envelope on her desk. Inside was a formal complaint letter signed by 5 senior employees, questioning her qualifications and suggesting her relationship with Gabriel represented a conflict of interest. She was still staring at the letter when Gabriel appeared. His expression darkened as he read over her shoulder. This ends now. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling an emergency all-staff meeting. Gabriel, no. That'll just make it worse. Victoria, I'm not going to let them tear you down. He cupped her face gently. I love you. I'm in love with you. And I'm not going to hide that or apologize for it. The words stopped her heart. You love me? From the moment you brought those flowers to the break room because you thought the office needed more life. From the moment you stayed late to help the intern who was struggling. From every moment you've been authentically, perfectly yourself. His thumb brushed her cheek. I love you, Victoria Hayes, and I'm going to make sure everyone in this building knows that you earned your place here long before I fell in love with you. The all-staff meeting happened at 10. The entire company crammed into the main conference room, buzzing with speculation. Victoria stood beside Gabriel, her heart pounding. I've called you here to address rumors and set the record straight. Gabriel's voice carried authority. Victoria Hayes has been the target of gossip and baseless accusations. So let me be crystal clear about the facts. He pulled up a screen showing Victoria's performance reviews, project successes, and client feedback, all dating back 2 years. Victoria has consistently been one of our top performers. She's led 15 major projects, all successful. Her client satisfaction rate is 98%. She's mentored 12 junior employees. And the Harrison medical contract, which some of you have questioned, was secured entirely because of her exceptional work. Gabriel's gray eyes swept the room. I am personally involved with Victoria, yes. But that relationship began after she'd already proven herself invaluable to this company. Anyone who suggests otherwise is not only wrong but insulting to a talented professional who has earned everything through merit. Preston stood up in the back. And what happens if this relationship ends badly? The company could suffer. Then, I'll resign. The room erupted in shocked whispers. Victoria grabbed Gabriel's arm. What are you doing? Gabriel turned to her, ignoring everyone else. I'm choosing you. If this company can't see your value independent of me, then it's not the company I thought I built. If I have to choose between Winters Tech and you, I choose you. Every single time. Tears spilled down Victoria's cheeks. You can't give up your company for me. I'm not giving it up. I'm betting on us. He smiled. Because I know we're going to succeed together, and anyone who can't see that doesn't deserve to be part of this team. Robert Chen's voice came from the doorway. Well said, Mr. Winters. Everyone turned. The Harrison medical chairman stood there with his entire board. We came for our contract signing, but I'm glad we witnessed this. Robert walked to the front of the room. Ms. Hayes, your presentation Friday was excellent, but what impressed me more was watching you work. You didn't just know your material. You cared about our company, our patients, our mission. That's rare. He turned to address the room. In my experience, the best business relationships are built on trust and integrity. If Gabriel Winters trusts Victoria Hayes enough to risk his reputation for her, and if she's talented enough to deliver results like Friday's presentation, then I'm confident we've partnered with the right company. Robert extended his hand to Victoria. I look forward to working with you, Ms. Hayes, and I hope your colleagues here recognize the gem they have in you. After the Harrison team left and the staff dispersed, many looking chastened, Gabriel pulled Victoria into his office. I meant what I said. I love you. Victoria wrapped her arms around him, no longer caring who saw. I love you too. I think I have from the beginning. I was just too scared to admit it. No more being scared, no more hiding. Gabriel kissed her forehead. We're going to face everything together, okay? Okay. 6 months later, Victoria stood in front of her canvas, paintbrush in hand. The painting showed two figures in an office, late at night, surrounded by papers and coffee cups, but looking at each other like they were the only two people in the world. It was titled, The Moment Everything Changed. Gabriel wrapped his arms around her from behind. It's perfect, just like you. Victoria leaned back against him, marveling at how much had changed. She'd been promoted to Vice President of Strategic Relations. The Harrison Medical Partnership had expanded into 5 more contracts, and she'd started painting again, with Gabriel's encouragement and support. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For seeing me when I felt invisible. For believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. For proving that love doesn't care about status or money or what other people think. Gabriel turned her around, his gray eyes full of warmth. You were never invisible, Victoria. You were always the brightest light in every room. I just made sure you knew it. As he kissed her, Victoria realized that the most beautiful transformations happened not in grand gestures, but in quiet moments of courage. The courage to be seen, to be loved, to believe that you deserve both. She'd called him untouchable once, but Gabriel Winters had proved her wrong in the most wonderful way possible. And in doing so, he'd helped her see the truth she'd been missing. All along, she was never ordinary. She was extraordinary. She always had been.